Hello and welcome to the Gun Shop with me, John.
And me, Dan.
And today we're going to be doing a little video for you guys on barrels and chokes and everything there is in between.
So let's start at the very beginning and decide on what length barrel we're going to choose for our new shotgun. So, Johnny, what would you suggest to someone who comes into the shop and is looking to upgrade their shotgun, who is going to be going clay shooting this summer? They've just got rid of their first shotgun, which is a hand-me-down from their father. What are you going to suggest?
Well, it's quite a difficult question, really. A lot of what we like in barrel length comes from our familiarity. Our first gun will generally affect what we like in the rest of our guns, as well as really boiling from what we had in the past and our shooting style and what we're going to shoot with it. So, the difference really between a 28 and a 32, the two sort of ends of the spectrum, if we will, a 28 is fast, a 32 is slow. A 28 is perhaps a little bit erratic, a 32 is a lot more steady. Realistically, very, very little difference. I wouldn't say a 32 is going to dust those clays a bit further. Shot clays at long distances with a 24 inch and it does the same job. It boils down to the handling, the speed of the gun and the repeatability for clay shooting that a heavy barrel gives you versus the instinctive speed that a slow, the smaller, lighter, faster barrel will give you.
So we've chosen our barrel length, and next we're going to move slightly up the end of the barrel towards the chokes. Now, it's very common for someone to come in who has either just gone for their first lesson or has been shooting for a short period of time to decide that they have to have a multi-choked barrel. Now, Johnny, what are the perks of having multiple chokes when it comes to shooting clay?
Well, you get the ability to change your choke, change your pattern. If you look at this little chart, we'll overlay it here so you can pause it and have a look. You can see that, there is a massive difference between a skeet choke and a full choke. If you don't know what type of shooting you're going to be doing, or you're confused, or you just want the ability to change, a multi-choke is a great tool to have. You can change from a tight pattern to a truly open pattern within a few seconds.
Is it a necessity?
Oh God, no, it's not. My personal opinion, as many people will probably know, is I prefer a fixed choke guns. On the cheaper multi-chokes, you'll find they have to swell the barrels to include the choke. This will add about 2 to 4 ounces to the front of your gun, which will make it more front heavy. So a 30-inch fixed choke will handle very much like a 28-inch multi-choke. So barrel length versus having a multi-choke in the end can make a massive difference, as well as the actual weight of the barrel in the length. So a lot of people do forget that, one 30-inch barrel will shoot like a 25-inch if it's super lightweight barrels, and a 25-inch can shoot like a 30-inch if the barrels are made of lead. They're not actually made of lead, that's just a term.
So, we've chosen our barrel length, and we have decided that it is not a necessity to buy a multi-choke, especially for those that just tend to be using the shotgun maybe once at the weekend. So, we've decided that for our clay gun, we need to buy a slightly longer barrel to allow for more free movement and less erratic movement when it comes to that. You can buy a multi-choke, but there is not a necessity. Don't be put off the gun just because it's not multi-choke.
The problem is nowadays is every manufacturer produces a multi-choke in their standard grades, and it's quite hard to find a decent fixed choke gun. This is because it's cheaper to make a multi-choke, and everyone's going to buy it. The markets generally around the world are very much multi-choke orientated. In fact, it's only England, from what I understand from a few of the manufacturers I've spoken to, where there's still a real stronghold for fixed choke guns, because we appreciate that handling a little bit better. In fact, if you look at the high-grade guns for RCs, for example, they generally come as fixed choke and you have multi-chokes put in afterwards, so they retain their balance perfectly.
So, our sporting and clay shooting is pretty much done. We've got ourselves our shotgun set based on the barrels, of course. Let's move on to the game side of things. We're going to be going after some birds. Now, Johnny, barrel length for birds, why is it important to have, or why should you consider a different barrel length when you're shooting game instead of sporting?
I don't think it's necessary. A bit like people come in and ask us for have you got any game chokes, what are my clay chokes? The chokes can stay the same, the barrels can stay the same. In fact, you're almost better to use the gun you're familiar with. However, I wouldn't suggest someone go out and shoot low partridges with a 32-inch multi-choke. It's going to be too slow. Same as I wouldn't say go out and shoot stupidly high pheasants with 28-inch. It's horses for courses, it's guns for different targets. Same as if you're a local clay shooter, you don't want a 32-inch fit-ass gun, and you don't want to take your 25-inch side-by-side that you use shooting straw balers locally to a international FITASC thing where you're shooting at 70-yard targets. Not that the gun won't do it, the cartridge will make more difference to your pattern than your choke will.
But we will come on to cartridges at a later
You've got to
point.
try and make it as easy for yourself as possible, right?
So, if there was one thing that you were going to say, what is the most important thing when it comes to choosing your shotgun based on barrels?
Ooh, that's about the most difficult question I've been asked in this whole thing. I don't know. Pick something you like the feel of. Pick something that's not too front heavy. You know, a well-balanced gun can weigh 9 pounds and feel and shoot better and have 20-inch barrels. It doesn't matter as long as the gun handles well. I've shot some 32-inch guns that are truly hideous, and I've shot some 28-inch guns that are truly hideous. Yet I've shot either end of the spectrum that shoot like the other end of the spectrum and are just gorgeous. Pick a gun that handles well. That's the most important thing I say here.
So, we are always more than happy just for a chat when you're coming into the store itself. We hope that this video has answered some confusion as to the importance of barrel length and multi-choke systems themselves.
We'll go into later on, perhaps in another video, choking. We'll go out and shoot a pattern plate, show the difference between chokes, barrel lengths, and then blow it all up by chucking a different cartridge in and changing the results entirely. And we'll go out and we'll actually shoot some clays with different guns and see the results. See that we can break every clay with every gun. It doesn't really matter, but it does when you're aiming for 100.
So, as Johnny said, the most important thing when choosing your gun based on barrels and choking systems is make sure you're happy with it. Make sure it feels good. Don't get something that doesn't feel good just because it ticks your other boxes. Stick with something you like, and stick with something that suits.
There was a really good case study, which I've got on the end here, of a long time ago. I was working with a good friend of mine, and a new customer came in for his girlfriend. His instructor had told him that his girlfriend needs a 32-inch barrel because they're the best, because that's what the instructor shot, and then that bought that as his first gun a few months ago, and now his girlfriend wants one, and that's the best. The 32 inch is the best. Good friend of mine went to a clay shoot with them, bumped into them at a clay shoot. I think he shot a 48 and this guy shot a 24. Barrel length really didn't come into play at that point. It's all about, I think when you start, perhaps getting a gun that's easier and faster to shoot, you can shoot with instinct, and a longer barrel perhaps is for a more experienced shooter. Barrel length doesn't affect your scores. Your shooting ability does.
Exactly. So, as I said, hopefully this has answered some of your questions on barrels and chokes. As always, feel
if you
free.
have any more, ask us down below.
Take care, guys.
Take care. We'll see you soon.